Okay.
I think you're missing the word make, maybe. So just so you know.
Welcome everyone to the Blazing the Finger presents the Meatheads on Movie Avengers Endgame review show. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Also, I want to say really fast, I did make affiliates. So I want to thank everybody that followed me to get me through the affiliate level. And then I want to thank my subscribers. I got 3 last night. I don't know what the total is right now, but it's more than what I expected at this point already. So thank you so much for that. I want to welcome my co-host of the Meatheads with me. Big Sam's in the house. What's up, Big Sam?
What's up, man? Blazing Defender.
Woo! Man, we've been, well, it's funny. I didn't plan it this way, but the Russos actually lifted the spoiler ban today.
Was it today?
Yeah, Monday. Yeah,
Pretty
so
hard.
basically, I didn't plan it that way, but when I seen that, I was like, oh, cool. So can't get in any trouble. If you have not
It's
seen
nice
the
of
movie,
them to work around our schedule.
yeah. Well, I know I know they're busy dudes.
I mean,
All
they're
that money that they count.
right.
I mean,
They probably have people for that.
yeah, I wouldn't let nobody count my money if it was that much.
Yeah, no.
Nah.
I'm not gonna let anyone count my money right now.
So it's it's number 1 now, right? Did it pass Titanic?
Yeah, past Titanic, but not Avatar.
I thought it did.
No, Avatar is by far still in the lead. Avatar's like 3.7 billion or
Oh
something.
no, not total for opening weekend.
Oh yeah.
For 7-day opening or whatever they call that, like it already made the biggest box office opening for a weekend, but then the 7-day total was another record.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and it decimated. I think it beat. I think it's made more than every movie, but no, I'm sorry. It was to hit the $2 billion dollar mark. It did it, and I think it was 10 days or 11 days, whatever it was. And the next closest was like 45 days or so. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It's like 4 times faster than the next closest.
Yeah. I mean, that's fucking insane. Like, it's only been really a little over a week.
Yeah. I mean, I think they count. Yeah. I guess it would be 2 weeks on Thursday. Well,
yeah
2 weeks today if you count. 2 weeks today if you count the international opening, though. I think China was on the Tuesday here.
Yeah, I think
but
it was.
I mean, still, so in that 12 to 14 day range.
It's so crazy. It seems like it's been so much longer than that.
It does. That's because the movie was 3 hours.
Yeah, that's true too. I rewatched it today.
Yeah, I've seen it twice also.
Okay, good. I'm really glad I watched again. We're going to talk about what we felt like the rewatchability of this movie was a little later, but I'm really glad that I did rewatch it today because I did get a lot more out of it, and I enjoyed I enjoyed it more the second time around, which I didn't think I would, if I'm being totally honest.
I was about the same.
Jason says Avatar's around 2.8 billion rounded up, so it's going to catch them.
I must be in the wrong one. I thought I was in the right chat. I said, yo, but I haven't seen anyone else doing anything.
Let me see.
I don't know.
Now, look at your activity feed. Can you see that?
Hold on. Is this it?
It should say stream chat.
I'm looking at us. Yeah, I see stream chat. Okay, let me see. Here, let me say something. Yo.
Yeah, I don't see yours.
Oh, let me put it in here. What about now? Did it go in there?
Yeah, I see you now. Yeah.
All right.
Yay,
Okay.
Sam's in. Yay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it. The movie, definitely spoilers. If you haven't already seen it, I'm sorry. You're like the only one in the world. So we can just go through like how the movie started. Like I got a rough timeline here, or we can just talk about the characters and how we felt, because a lot of characters got their arc pretty much finished.
They did, yep. Everyone but the Winter Soldier.
What's that?
Said everybody but Bucky, who continued to do nothing.
Yeah, he did nothing, and well, I mean, he's going to be a sidekick now.
Yeah,
he's going to be a sidekick again. Old Buck, never, always a bridesmaid, never a bride for old Buck.
Right, for sure, man. Okay, I mean, I guess let's go through timeline.
Okay,
and we could just touch the character, I guess, as they're going through their arc or something.
Okay.
At that time.
The movie starts out with Hawkeye, teaching his daughter how to shoot.
Yep.
And it's during the Infinity War when Thanos snapped everybody away.
Right.
A pretty and also if you haven't watched, comicbook.com did a sit down with Joe Russo, and he was very, very forthcoming in a lot of questions about Endgame, why they decided to do what they did. And that scene with Hawkeye was apparently a end credit scene for Infinity War. And they decide to move it to Endgame as an opening to remind people of what happened in Infinity War and to kind of set the tone for the movie. And I think it was a very powerful scene. It did exactly what they wanted it to do.
Yeah, for sure. Good decision.
Yeah. Yeah, and plus it shows the transfer of Hawkeye into the Ronin character and why he went on the fucking warpath like he did. So then to me, and you and I talked about this, after that scene, there's a lot of fallout. You see Stark, he's drifting out in space. What was it, 23 days, something like that. He leaves his message to Pepper. Lo and behold, the Great White Hope shows up and saves Tony, brings him back to Earth. And then we kind of get our first, we haven't really seen Cap and Tony in the same frame. And at first it seems like very, very brotherly, and Cap's like, he's like, I couldn't beat him, Cap. I couldn't beat him. And Cap's like, Tony, we lost. We lost too. You know what I mean? So, but then it quickly changes to Tony being very angry and upset at Cap. There was a lot of the Civil War animosity still, in Tony, as they, they're kind of battling right there. And, Tony's trying to pull out the fucking IV, and Rhodey's trying to fucking calm him down. But as you and I talked, it was kind of a slow setup.
Yeah.
We're sitting in a movie theater thinking, all right, yeah, okay, something's going to happen. Yeah. We all knew Tony was going to fucking live. We knew he wasn't going to die out in space.
Right.
And then we get Marvel's introduction to the rest of the Avengers.
I did like the little kind of interactions between him and Nebula, like playing, paper football and stuff. That was cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
And Nebula, through this movie, she really has some character development in this movie. Maybe
Yeah.
for this movie alone, maybe more than any other character. Because for one thing, we haven't seen her a whole lot. But we get past Nebula, who's still a fucking little shit. And then, we have this new Nebula that is, bonded with her sister that, is gone now, but she kind of gets to reconnect with her in a way. So you get a lot of that. She turns traitor and hero. You know what I mean? Kind of all in the same movie. It's a little strange.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked what they did with her. She seemed like she was with Tony almost like kind of humanizing, a little bit.
Yes.
And that's the part I liked out of that. Especially with as slow as the movie was to start, I was worried about the second time because the only reason you were hooked in the first time is, okay, how are they going to pull this off?
How's it going to happen? Yeah.
And the second time, I do think it felt slower to me.
The second time it felt slower?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you see, I guess I didn't because in my little timeline here, I've got like these key events wrote down, and when they finally get Ant-Man, okay, when he shows up and there's a chance, right? Well, no, before that they go hunt Thanos, okay, and I never thought in a million years that in the first 15 minutes of the movie they were going to find Thanos and kill him.
Right.
So, that the first time you see that, you're like, oh, shit, when Thor cuts his head off. What'd you do?
Right.
I went for the head. Holy shit. Now what the fuck do you do? You know? So, in that, having known that was going to happen, now I'm waiting again, right? Because, again, we're talking about rewatchability. I'm waiting again, even though it was a good scene, it was a cool scene. And to see how the stones, after he snapped the stones away, or maybe not snapped them, but he used the power to destroy the stones themselves, it caused even more damage on Thanos. And I really don't think I got that the first time. Okay,
yeah, I really saw how small his arm was.
Yes.
And all that. Yeah, he was messed up.
He was messed up. He's limping. And I'm like, man, he couldn't whip anybody right now. He wasn't even upset to be killed. He was just like, I did what I had to, and I'm fucked up. So I'm inevitable. I mean, that motherfucker's like, dude, I'm like the weather, motherfucker. You can't stop me. I'm inevitable. But yeah, so then. All that was kind of slow. We're all talking about the second time. I really loved the scene the first time I seen it because, like you said, we were like, holy shit. What happens now? Boom, 5 years later, and you're like, wow. Now you get to see even humanity is still fucked up. We didn't even really get any better. You know what I mean? It seems like we've kind of spiraled down.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you saw the devastation, it looked almost like a dystopian planet,
It did. Yeah, especially with showing Ellis Island with all the boats and everything. And it's just, you don't have the people around the earth that you used to do jobs. All these people had jobs and half of everybody in the fucking world is gone. The galaxy's gone. So, and even Marvel says that. She's like, look, what happened here has happened everywhere.
Right.
It's fucked up everywhere, guys. It ain't just you. And some of these planets don't have you guys. They're not fortunate to have you guys.
Right.
And so just really quick, because I didn't want to breeze over it, because you and I were talking a little bit before the show. Joe Russo basically, in not so many words, when Widow is, she's doing the Avengers thing still. She's keeping everybody in place, just getting updates on shit. And Okoye from the Daja
Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje, thank you. She talks about the earthquake underwater, the tsunami.
Right.
And so it was asked of Joe Russo, was that Namor? And Joe Russo might as well said it was.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, yeah, could have been. You know what I mean? And then he said, well, it could not have been too, so, but it was basically pretty much a confirmation from Russo that was Namor. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's something I never even put that together the first time I seen the movie.
Really? See, that's immediately what I thought of. I go, oh, that's Namor.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, because I wasn't even, my head wasn't even going there. So, and then, Nat, we see the, just how it's really hurt her character. You almost, if you got to give an MVP to somebody in this movie, Nat's a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, she's up there. She's up there. God, I'd have to think about that.
I mean, just from where she started, basically a bad guy. Basically,
right.
Her and Cap really, really wasn't getting along in Winter Soldier. And Cap basically, I think Cap made her turn the corner. Like, you can't be my friend. I can't trust you. You know what I mean? And Captain America saying that to you. I mean, goddamn, it didn't get any worse than that.
When they're on that boat, and he's like, oh, you've got a mission within the mission. That's not how a team works.
Right.
So on and so forth. Like you said, I can't trust you. Yeah, I would say that would be that was big. And what's funny is a lot of people are going to say Iron Man.
Sure.
But pretty soon I have a reason why I think Iron Man was actually maybe almost a villain in this movie. Now, I'm going to tell you what it was what I came up with. And I'm telling you, no one's touched on it. But I said to two people to make sure I didn't miss something. Both people were like, holy shit. Okay. I said, yeah, it hit me to the second time.
Okay.
But yeah, Black Widow, I would say for sure would be up there. Nebula might be up there.
She's up there.
She turned Gamora, which really turned the tide.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange, he knew it was going to go down like that. He appeared to everyone and said, it's been 5 years. Come on, we got to roll now.
Yeah. He knew, yeah.
He's a big part. Ant-Man was a big part.
He was.
But really, MVP, are we going to go with the little ass rodent that let Ant-Man out? I mean, none of it happens without that.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched that the second time, and I don't think that's what happened. I think the rat was just on it, and I don't think we know how Scott really got out.
Oh, I thought the rat clearly hit it. But
I mean, it ain't like, well, if he did, they didn't make it obvious. Like, he's just kind of scurrying around. Now, like, if he would have pressed a button or flipped a switch and fucking Scott shot out, but like, I don't know about that. I like I said, I seen that written somewhere, and I watched the second time. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a stretch for me.
Yeah.
But let's just say he did. Other than that, I mean, again, Tony came up with he solved time travel.
He did.
Like, I mean, without him, none of it fucking worked. Even Banner couldn't fucking do it. So, okay, let's do this. Let's talk about the Hulk, because I've seen some people say they fucking absolutely loved it, and then I've probably heard a lot more than not say they fucking hated that.
Which is where I fall into it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I hated it, but I definitely didn't like it.
Yeah, I have not liked the Hulk since he fought Thor in Ragnarok. That was the last part I've really cared for the Hulk.
Yeah.
He acted like a bitch when Thor was like his roommate, essentially, later in Ragnarok. And he wants to whine and throw, Hulk's supposed to be number one and all. Cool, okay. Then he's going to fight the Hellhound, right? They don't even show that. They just roll around in the water for a second. That's a missed opportunity. Infinity War is well documented. He got his ass whooped by Thanos and then becomes a bitch.
Yep.
And then in here, he's a bitch. And all that little comedy shit about,
I hated it.
Awful.
Yeah, I hated that.
So you took Hulk, who's supposed to be a monster of rage, and you turned him into a monster of emotion. He's whiny and moody and emotional. And I'm like, That cool. If you like it, that's great. I
Well, I
thought
mean,
so.
it was a plot device.
Yeah,
They had to have him as that character to do the snap.
Yeah, I think it was a flip for me, whereas you took Hawkeye, who I would have originally said was the biggest bitch in the Avengers, right? From the original 6, they showed Avengers 1. And you made him awesome as Ronin. I mean, a bad dude.
Yes.
And you took Hulk, who was my favorite in Avengers 1, just as far as Hulk's mad, ripping shit. I'm always angry, crushing shit, to the weakest of the Avengers. The guy I wanted to see on the screen the least.
Yes.
So you flip-flop those two characters for me.
Right. Well, like I said, I think they knew if you weren't going to have Thor do it, then it had to be the Hulk to reverse the snap because he's the only one that can take it. Right. And to have him do that, he has to be in a rational mindset. And Mr. Fix-It, Professor Hulk, they're all from the comics. So this is not something that they made up. I mean, the Russos are comic fans.
But it was not well received in the comics either.
No. Well, I mean, we could go down that rabbit hole all day because neither's Captain Marvel. That's the reason she's been booted 1,000 times in the fucking comics.
Correct.
Falcon is Cap, not well received in the comics. I mean,
the whole Secret Empire stuff that they threw in there, people hated that.
Yeah.
In the movie, they like, the Hail Hydra, and then him fighting himself. It's all straight from Secret Empire.
I would love to know if the Russos are Nick Spencer fans.
Right, which is also where we got Falcon Cap. Was Nick Spencer. So that's that. They did a lot of Nick Spencer there, and Nick Spencer, me and you have talked about a ton. Very hit and miss. Some of the stuff he does, I just love it. Yes. Superior Foes of Spider-Man, the Fix-It Image, but you flip it around. His Cap run, I did not care for.
That's awful.
Yeah, so he's very hit and miss for me. Some of his stuff's great. Some of his stuff, I would rather never read it again.
Yeah. I mean, even in the current Ta-Nehisi Coates run, I mean, Cap is still dealing with the fallout from Secret Empire. But it fucking lasted, 2.5 years, damn near, Secret Empire.
And that was one of the reasons I didn't like it.
Yeah, it was too fucking long.
Yeah, for sure.
So Professor Hulk, or whatever we're calling him, big miss for both of us. But again, Hawkeye was I'm upset in a way that, I mean, I guess they could still do a Ronin movie where he was doing something in the last 5 years. You know what I mean? And I would like to see that. I really, really would.
I want that, and I want it. It'll never happen.
No, it'll never happen.
In my perfect world, we would have a R-rated Ronin movie, an old samurai style in modern times Marvel movie. And that would be amazing.
It would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, you actually, like I said, you took maybe, I ain't gonna say the weakest Avenger, but one of the weakest Avengers, especially as far as characters go.
And I say weakest out of the original 6 that we had Avengers 1. It was the 4 plus him and Black Widow. Well, Black Widow whooped his ass, so
she whooped him twice. She beat him in this movie. So
you got to be the weakest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and maybe not the most well received, even at that, because Avengers, he spent the whole movie, mind stoned.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he really didn't get to do anything there. But he was still formidable. Even as a bad guy, he was still formidable, running for, errands for Loki or whatever. But yeah, so he was, I really loved him as Ronin. I thought they did that very, very well. But okay, so as we get through the movie, now we're in our time travel, Tony fucking figures it out. He even kind of shocked himself that he figured it out. So now you're getting these groups of teams to go on their missions to get stones.
Here's my big reveal. Can I do it now? Because this is the time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, first, number one, Robert Downey's a fuck of an actor, man. I just got to say that.
Oh, my God. He's amazing.
Dude, the parts where he's like falling back, like, oh, my God, I solved it, and stuff like that. Like, it was so good.
Yes.
It was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, me too.
All right, here's my reveal. Here's why I say Iron Man is almost a villain. He's not, but there's some questionable actions. And like I said, I didn't pick this up till the second time. I called a couple of buddies. I said, hey man, what about this? And they're like, holy shit, I never thought about that. And I haven't seen anyone talk about it. So here you go. So we break the Avengers up into teams of 2 or 3 to go back for the stones. Correct, right? Okay. Each person gets sent back to a specific stone for a specific reason. Correct?
Well,
right?
mean?
I mean, well, they sent the teams back for certain stones.
Right.
They figured that out. They said, okay,
because they're in certain timelines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now we know in order to get the soul stone, you have to make the sacrifice of the person you love the most, correct?
Well, I don't know that they knew that. They should have known that.
Wait. That's what I'm asking you,
okay.
Not them. Correct? You have to sacrifice the thing you love the most, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so one of 2 things happened. One, either you have the greatest cosmic coincidence, they sent Hawkeye and Black Widow because they're the only ones that loved each other like that to make that happen. Or they knew, and one of them had to die. And tell me this, was Tony not on Titan when they found out Thanos killed Gamora in order to get the Soul Stone? Nebula says they both went to whatever the fuck the name of the planet is. He came back with the Soul Stone and Gamora did it. And that's when Star-Lord freaks out and this, that. Tony knew that either Black Widow or Hawkeye had to die.
I don't know. I don't know if he did.
How could he not? How could he not?
Well, because he doesn't know. I mean, I don't know why anybody would put that together. Thanos, I mean,
Nebula said it. She said it clear as day, and Star-Lord put it together.
Yeah, but Tony was trying to get the glove off. And then when he seen Quill freaking out, he told Quill to get your shit together. Like, we almost got this thing off. Like,
so he doesn't know why Quill's freaking out?
I don't. Because Gamora's dead. Because Gamora's dead's why he's freaking out.
Right.
But why would you put that together if you didn't know any better?
Nebula said it. She said they went to the planet. He got the Soul Stone and Gamora didn't return. Like, that's clear as day.
Okay, but but even before all that, why didn't Nebula tell them when everybody's going through where they're at and what their experience was with the stones? Why didn't Nebula, for one thing, Nebula didn't tell them that, okay? And she didn't tell them till her and Rhodey got to Vortimir or whatever it was, where the Power Stone was, that, oh, by the way, we should take cover. Why is that? Oh, well, we're not the only ones looking for the fucking stones right now.
So there's my question.
Why didn't you tell us that beforehand?
Right, and she should have. But so here's my question. So you're saying either Nebula hid the secret.
I think Nebula hid it.
Or Tony hid it. And I'm telling you, Tony had to have known. You're right. You're on Thanos as she's saying it. Like, what else are you doing? Okay, but so either someone sent one of them to die, knowing that was what's going to have to happen, or you got lucky as shit that you happen to send the only pair that cares about themselves like that, and that's bullshit if that's what happened too.
Yeah, I mean,
great cosmic coincidence, fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way they would have got the stone is to send them to.
Well, and someone in the chat, I don't know whose this handle is, said, I'm not sure that he would have known Nat and Hawkeye love each other. Like, that's well established. That everyone in the Avengers knows their relationship.
Yeah, especially since Age of Ultron. You know, I mean, she knew about his kids, his wife. I mean, that's how close they are with no one else.
That's well established. And my other question, this is a little bit, it's part of it, but a little less. If you have to sacrifice the thing you love the most in order to get the Soul Stone, does Nat committing suicide count? Because she pushed off the rock and flipped through his hand. He didn't drop her. He didn't throw her. Does that count?
Well, I think it's the sacrifice. Like, you're sacrificing, like Thanos sacrificed Gamora. Widow is sacrificing herself because of her love for Hawkeye. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I see what you mean.
Flimsy. I think that's flimsy.
Well, I mean, if Hawkeye dies, it's the same argument, though.
Yeah, if he killed himself, correct.
Yeah.
I think I would have the same argument. Exactly. One of them had to sacrifice the other one according to the rules of the Soul Stone.
So kind of Hawkeye didn't he? Did he let her go?
No, you can clearly see he's holding her tight, and she kicks off of the rock to slip through his grip. Like, you clearly see it. She did it herself. Like, he didn't let go.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the whole thing with the Soul Stone. Because my thing was, so when they put the Soul Stone back.
Yeah, how do you do that?
How do you do that? And especially Cap, which we're gonna get to all that too.
Right. Yeah, I didn't want to jump to that part because that's a big question I have too. But I'm telling you, Tony knew that one of them wasn't coming back. He had to.
I don't know. I don't know they did.
He had to. There's no other way.
Nebula definitely did, because Nebula put that together immediately. And, Tony is a man of science. Even though all the shit that he's seen, he's still a man of science. So he's not looking at it like, you got to sacrifice the one you love to get the stone. You know what I mean? That's just not how Tony's mind works.
Oh, come on. As emotional, he knows about sacrificing his kid.
No, well, that was about time travel. He didn't want to go back in time travel and fuck up his family in the present.
Which is emotional, correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
no one would want to do that. I mean,
of course. But so you're saying he could look past sacrificing somebody that's not his kid because he's scientific,
right?
You wouldn't look at it that way.
Because time travel is scientific. That's how he solved it, because he's a fucking scientist.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. And I think if you rewatch
I'm not buying that he knew that they were going to die. I'm not buying that.
If you're watching Infinity War, he tells Star-Lord to chill out before Star-Lord even goes because he put it together. She says it. He turns to Star-Lord and says,
Gamora was dead and Star-Lord was going to fucking freak out.
So
Tony probably didn't even think about it past that. Because he's trying to get the glove and Quill's about to fuck it all up.
The smartest man in the Marvel universe can't put that together, what she just said. Come on, man. He just saw time travel.
Yeah.
He can't put together, both of them went. He got the Soul Stone. She didn't come back.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that. Tony deals with what he knows. And that's why he wasn't going to do the time travel thing, because he's like, there's too many variables. It can't be figured out. I ain't doing it. I would do anything for you all, but I'm not doing that. And then lo and behold, oh shit, I did figure out time travel. I'll do it now. Tony deals with what he knows.
Okay, right. But
that's an assumption. You're making an assumption, and Tony doesn't deal in assumptions.
I don't think so. I think you're making an assumption that he couldn't put that together.
No, I'm sure he could put it together if there was something to put together.
Trav,
Thanos is a murderer. Thanos, he kills people. That's what he wants to wipe out half the population. Gamora not returning, that's not 1 + 1, man. That's
oh yeah,
it's not. And Tony's not, he doesn't deal, the reason I think Nebula could put it together is because Nebula knows Thanos. Nebula is out in space. She knows of stories similar to that. So I think Nebula could be like, hey, he come back with a Soul Stone, Gamora didn't. Like, she can see that. Tony's kind of like, yeah, maybe, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
but there's no way that Tony's going to sit there and tell Nat and them that one of y'all is going to die if you go. Like,
right,
he doesn't know that.
He didn't tell them. He sacrificed one of them.
Why do you think he put the teams together? I don't think he did. I think Cap did.
Okay, so he watched Cap do it, and he still didn't say anything. So
yeah, maybe. Nebula did the same thing.
Sure, I could definitely agree with you on that.
That's
which
the
would
one
call back the fact that is Nebula really the hero we thought she was?
Well, that's the mind-boggling thing to me is Nebula definitely knew. We can assume, you can think Tony knew, but you're still not 100% sure he did. You can think he knew because you think he's so smart, but Nebula definitely knew, and she didn't say anything.
I agree with you that Nebula for sure had to know. I think it is very, very flimsy to think that Tony would not know when he's the smartest man. It was clearly conveyed. Like, I think if you were there pulling the glove off and that happened, you would be like, oh shit, he sacrificed Gamora for the stone. And not saying you're not an intelligent dude, of course you are, but you're not Tony Stark,
right?
Nor am I.
Right.
And we would put that together.
Yeah, but so that's your thing to make Tony a villain? That's your theory?
Yeah. Yeah, if you let one of his people
die, dude.
Really?
And he fucking killed Thanos. He killed himself to save everybody.
Correct. He still did a big thing. I said he sacrificed himself. He still went above and beyond. However, if we're going with we don't leave one man behind. You want to go to the military? We don't leave no man, down, all that good stuff.
That's true.
And Tony sacrificed a person, someone he supposedly cared about.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he's like, I really don't know Clint that well, and Nat's got a lot of red ledger. One of them probably needs to go anyway.
He's like, I'll just act upset at the funeral.
All right, so we'll pin that. We'll pin that later. I'd love to have Joe Russo on the fucking show and find out what he thought about it.
That'd be awesome.
That wouldn't it? Would that be fucking awesome?
Right.
But yeah, so there was a lot in getting back to it being slow when all the times travel stuff started happening. For me, the second time around, all that really resonated. I don't know why. Thor talking to his mother really resonated with me. Tony talking to his dad, knowing that Tony's going to die at the end, really resonated with me. I was like, those scenes took on so much more for me because I knew how this was going to play out.
Sure. I like those two scenes. And I think I agree that I got more out of the Tony and his dad relationship, especially where he's like, I've never put myself over the greater good, that type, which is what made Tony decide to do the snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff, I agree. My problem was kind of the stuff before it where every single person is going to run into the exact person they're not supposed to. And shenanigans. Like, it could have been Keystone Cops. Like, we could have played that shit really fast and put like do music on it. And I was like, man, this is a little corny right now.
Yeah.
But not one person can pull this off without having some sort of...
Cap he's trying to duck old girl and he just happens to go into Peggy's office.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that shit. I don't know. But it didn't bother. That didn't bother me. Like, I liked Cap going into the office. I liked him seeing Peggy. Tony, of course, running into his dad was, without that, we wouldn't have had those moments.
Right.
So
I think it would have been fine if we just had a few less of them. Like, we didn't have to have, could one or two people maybe just pull it off without some issue, and maybe a couple people has,
right.
The only one I would say is, Hulk really didn't run into anybody. He talked to the Ancient One, which I loved. Like, the Ancient One was awesome in that movie.
The what was?
The Ancient One.
Yeah. Yeah, really cool. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason, I don't know, Jason. We're going to talk about that here in a minute, but he said, well, they set that up beforehand when they're discussing all the time travel movies. I don't know what you mean by that when you're saying set that up. I guess you're saying set the rules up for time travel in this movie, which, if that's true, then there's definitely some contradictory stuff going on at
there's
the
a big
end.
issue.
And I think it's real funny, and I'll go ahead and pull it up because the screenwriters are actually they have a disagreement with the directors on the time travel rules. And the question was, did Captain America's action at the end affect the timeline? Does this mean there was a time where two Caps exist in the same universe? And basically, the directors are saying that Cap's action at the end wasn't the fact that he wanted to change anything. It's more like, to me, he made a choice. He chose to go back in the past and live with the one he loved for the rest of his life. Time travel in this movie created an alternate reality. He lived a completely different life in that world. We don't know how exactly his life turned out, but I like to think he helped many people when he could and when he was needed by the world. Yes, there were two Caps in that reality, and it's just like the Hulk said, what happened in the past has already happened. If you go back to the past, you simply create a new reality. The character of this movie created a new timeline when they went back to the past, but it had no effect on the Prime universe. What happened in the past 22 movies is still canon. Okay, and then it says, this makes sense considering how time travel works in the MCU, but the writers, Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, they said, does this mean old Cap was hanging out the whole time while the other Captain America was saving the day? This guy, Christopher Marcus, said, this is our theory. We are not experts in time travel, but the Ancient One specifically states that when you take an Infinity Stone out of the timeline, it creates a new timeline. So Steve going back and just being there would not create a new timeline. So that I reject the Steve is in an alternate reality theory. I do believe that there is simply a period in world history from about 48 to where there are two Steves. There are two Steve Rogers. And anyway, for a large chunk of the one of them is frozen in ice. So it's not like they'd be running into each other.
Mm-hmm.
So
and so here's my question, because either way you have an issue. Okay, if you decide he created an alternate timeline, then he can't be sitting on the bench in that timeline.
Exactly.
Okay? If he didn't create an alternate timeline, then he essentially wiped out her kids from the face of existence.
Yep.
Whoever she was married to.
Yep.
Okay, that didn't happen.
Right.
Sat by while he knows all this bad shit's happening to Bucky.
Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D., which is who Peggy's working for.
Right. And so on and so forth. So either way, you have got some major issues.
Yes.
Not to mention, how do you put the Soul Stone back?
Yeah.
And did he re-inject Natalie Portman with the ether? Like, come on, that's weird too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's some major issues, man.
Yeah. That's, I mean, yeah. I could see, he's got her, but he had to take back Mjolnir as well. So, right. I mean, I could see him being in Asgard. I can see him getting Portman with that injectable thing with that, that Rocket had.
Hey, bend over, bitch. I got a little something for you. Like.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, Portman could be a slut, dude. She might like the Cap better. It is America's ass. But the other two, they're really shaky. Like, I mean, there's some shaky stuff. Now, I do want to say that, they asked Joe Russo about his ending, about Cap's ending. And the long and short of it was the reason they didn't kill Cap is because everyone thought they were.
Great. So you came up with something dumber?
Yeah. See, that's my thing. They're like, I get it. You don't want to give people exactly what they, what they're expecting. But to me, good writing trumps everything. So you could have done it in a way that we didn't see coming and still gave Cap the heroic ending.
Here's my perfect ending. Right? And I'm no writer. Thanos is beating the shit out of Cap like he did. You think Cap is just about dead, right?
Right.
He's on the ground. Tony rushes over to him to come to his aid. Cap winks at him or whatever. He took the stones off of Thanos. Hands them to Tony. Snap still occurs. Everything else is the same. Cap's gone. Tony's gone. Everything makes sense. Cap goes out like a hero.
Right.
Why couldn't we have done that?
Right. Yeah.
That would have been perfect.
I think. Well, and then like how I thought it would happen, which I'm glad they didn't do this either, because I'd have been like, I called that. Now I don't like being right. I like being surprised. But like, you've only got.
You definitely weren't right about Tony not knowing.
Huh?
I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
So Cap, they've only got so many Pym particles. Cap makes a sacrifice to stay in the past, to get them to where they need to be in the future. You know what I mean? With the stones, like Cap was going to make a sacrifice. Because that to me, that's Cap. But I will say I did catch this in the end when he's talking to Falcon on the bench, and he said that, you know, I thought that I would do what Tony's been telling me to do and get that life one day. You know, like, so Tony dying really, you know, I don't want to say it broke Cap, but it gave Cap another perspective on life.
And see, I thought that came from him being in Peggy's office and seeing her again. I thought that's what started triggering those thoughts. You know what? If we pull this off, maybe I can come back to here.
Sure.
My other question is, when you return the stone to the time stone to Ancient One, and you have to do it to the exact time when it was taken, right? So does he sit there like next to the Hulk who's getting it, and he's like, nope, give it back. Here you go. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
How does that dynamic work? Which is also weird.
Yeah, I don't know. My question is, does Strange have the time stone when he comes back?
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
And there's just so many problems with time travel.
There really is. I mean, I get it. You want to establish your own rules because it's your game, so you can make the rules. But I feel like they didn't even follow their own rules.
They didn't. I mean, with Cap, they clearly did it. And here's my thing. Like, you reverse them in the sense that Iron Man went from a very selfish character in the beginning.
Sure.
To sacrificing his family and everything like that.
Yes.
Okay. To give it up. You flipped Cap, who is the most unselfish of heroes in the end, to a selfish character at the end of the movie.
Well,
which I don't like.
In Joe Russo's interview on that show, he talks about that. And as he's talking about Cap, the audio gets really wonky, I guess because they did it live. I don't know, but it gets wonky, and I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. This is the only question I want to hear, and I can't even fucking hear what he's saying. But then when he gets to talking about Tony's end, he talks about that, and they said that I guess what Joe was saying was about Cap, like Cap was always that character. He started that way. Do you see what I'm saying? He was always the Boy Scout, even before he had the super soldier serum. Yep. So his arc does this. You know what I mean? It doesn't really ever change.
Right.
So to have him do what he did kind of changes his character arc a little bit. Makes him a little selfish, if nothing else. Okay?
Not a little. Not a little selfish.
But there's still a Cap running around. There's still a Captain America running around.
But now there's a Cap with all the knowledge of all that bad stuff.
My big thing,
wiped out 2 kids.
My big thing is, but he probably don't even like fucking kids, man. So it wouldn't bother me. I'd fucking shit. I'm hitting fucking Haley Atwell all day, dude. I ain't got time for no fucking kids. But so why did Cap age?
Yeah, and that's a good question too. I
don't understand that. He didn't lose the super soldier serum. He's obviously not going to age like a normal person.
Have they established that I don't think they necessarily set that forth that he wouldn't age like a normal person.
But that really makes no sense because he heals faster and everything else. So
does he? Have we seen that?
Because
I don't think we have. Because I was thinking about that.
He's taking some fucking beatings.
Yeah, he did take some beat, but there's a lot of ridiculous beatings in the MCU.
Well, that's
that
true too.
Back up
I mean, they've never really got into that, but I assume they're staying somewhat close to the comic book, and he does. I mean, it'd be kind of shitty to have a super soldier serum and, you know, you fucking bleed out. You know what I mean?
In the comics he does for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think they necessarily established that in the movies. I was thinking about it once you posed that question to me.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I agree with you. It was weird to me to see that. And again, it was another tribute to Nick Spencer, you know, hey, old man Cap, you know.
Yeah. Commander Rogers.
And I thought it was weird, but I don't think they've necessarily established that, which again would be weird and would take away from the comic book. But also, Bucky hasn't aged.
Right.
And he's got super soldier and he hasn't aged.
It's true. I mean, now they would keep him on ice periodically.
But
I mean, I like I said, I didn't understand that. I was kind of like, why did he get old? You know, he's still Cap.
That's an issue too.
Yeah. Brian wanted to ask us, for you guys, who had your favorite fight scene at the end of the battle? Wow, that's easily hands down fucking Cap when he grabbed Mjolnir. I mean,
Okay.
that was, to me, that was, fucking straight out of comic books, and the way that he was utilizing the shield and the hammer, it was just fucking, it was badass. I mean,
yeah, I thought that was awesome, and I would not argue that at all. For me, I'm going to say Thanos, and I'm sure he's probably looking for a hero, but I'm going to take Thanos. He took on all of them. And okay, so we want to talk about the Russos didn't kill Cap because they thought everyone was going to do that, right? They thought everyone knew Cap was going to die. But what I loved is everyone thought Captain Marvel was going to whoop Thanos, and she took it down to a knee, and then he flipped that Power Stone over and just laid her out. And for me, I was like, "Thank you."
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
So I'm taking Thanos' fight scene over everybody. Cap's amazing too. I mean, and so with you saying that, here's where I wanted to bring in something. I was worried about the rewatchability of this movie the second time, especially with the first hour and a half or so being like, oh God. And it was a little bit boring for me the second time. However, I thought there was going to be some issues with all the cool moments were aha moments. Like, oh my God, Cap got the hammer. I didn't see that coming. Now I know it's coming. It was just as cool the second time, even though I knew it.
Yes.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
And it was amazing. And I even caught myself smiling like right before it because I knew what was about to happen.
I didn't. I'd forgotten.
Oh, shit.
Not that I forgot. I knew it was going to happen, but like,
right.
Thanos is fucking pushing the axe in the Thor's chest, and fucking I see Mjolnir lift off the ground. I went, oh fuck, here it is, and dude, and then when he called the lightning down on Thanos, I mean that was fucking badass too, man.
It was
by far my favorite moment in the movie. Was those moments, and I love Fat Thor. We haven't even talked about Fat Thor.
I loved when Fat Thor became young Odin.
Yes.
When he looked like Odin, twisted braided beard, and I was like, this is awesome.
It's awesome. And a lot of people, dude, I've read so many articles about the Russos catching shit. He was suffering from PTSD, and that's y'all made it a big fat joke. And I'm like, nah, motherfucker. He was, but he picked himself fucking up and became the fucking God of Thunder again. I mean, when he grabs the two hammers, that was a great moment for me too. When he grabbed the two hammers and the lightning hit him in this fucking beard braided. They asked Joe Russo about that too. They're like, so, the lightning can braid your beard? And he was like, Asgardian magic, man.
Yeah, if you can manipulate lightning, you can manipulate it,
Sure, absolutely. I had no problem with that at all. Yeah, and I felt like he did look more like a Viking. Brian just said this. He looked more like a Viking in this movie than any of the other ones.
I did not like short haircut Thor personally. Like, I mean, his character was fine, but I prefer the long Viking hair look to him, and he had it, and it was awesome.
When Ragnarok, when we were getting rumors and all that shit about Ragnarok, first the rumor was he had a mohawk.
Yeah.
And I was going to be all for that.
Yeah.
I was going to be like, fuck yes, give him a fucking big ass blonde mohawk. But then, they cut his hair. I didn't really mind it, but I love long hair, long beard. I mean, he looked fucking badass, man.
I agree. It didn't take anything away from it. Like, I wasn't like, oh, this sucks. Or,
right.
I preferred the long hair Viking. But what I had heard when the rumors were coming out was that he was going to have to shave his head.
Yeah.
And that brought me back to the old school, like, Shaolin monk, where the guy goes to the temple, they got to shave their head with the razor. And I was like, oh my God, I would love that being the kung fu guy.
Yeah, they're not going to shave Chris Hemsworth fucking hair too much.
Do you know how great that would have been, though?
Oh, yeah, it'd have been fucking awesome.
Yeah, man.
He
didn't fucking put the little dots in his head like a monk.
Jason saying he didn't pull it together. He lost his shit before he talked to his mom. Once he talked to his mom, fucking Thor was good. And then when him and Thanos are just kind of staring each other down, and Cap's like, what's he doing? And he was like, nothing. And he was like, so we killing this time properly. Like, dude, when Thor grabbed the two hammers, it was fucking on.
Yeah, I thought the time when the moment he regained himself, he's talking to his mother, she kind of said, you need to be who you are. And when the hammer came to him, when Mjolnir came and he said, I'm still worthy.
Yes.
Was the moment that he was back.
That's when that's when the switch flipped.
And here's my thing. Here's why I wasn't upset with the PTSD. And, I work with guys with PTSD, sure. 45 hours a week, sure. And all that. Why I didn't take it as offensive as a fat joke or anything like that is because if they would have taken him and he was fat and out of shape and whiny and all that shit, if he would have changed and gone back into shape, I would have agreed. They would have been saying, hey, if you're a fat piece of shit or you're in PTSD, in order to be back to who you really want to be, warrior, this and that, you have to cut yourself into shape. Sure. I would have sided with that argument. But the fact that he stayed fat and got himself together and fought, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't have any issue with it. From a guy who works with PTSD, I didn't think I took any offense to it because he stayed. He was able to regain and still become this warrior and everything while out of shape.
Yeah, and now he's going to be with the Guardians, which
I'm so hyped.
I'm so hyped for that. Him and Pratt, that moment they have when they're talking about who's in charge, it may be one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, I'll tell you like this. A lot of the humor did not hit for me.
Sure.
And one of my biggest complaints with the MCU going forward and for the last few movies is that everybody has to be fucking Star-Lord or Iron Man, with the quick wits and stuff. Captain Marvel coming down and be like, hey, Peter Parker, I think you've got something for me. Like, bitch, the whole universe is up for grabs right now. You're cracking jokes. That's not realistic. It's not going to happen. I don't need 30 superheroes that are funny and quick-witted, okay? Right. So a lot of the humor missed for me, but that Star-Lord and Thor scene at the end was fucking hysterical.
And it was just as funny the second time. I watched it today, and I was fucking rolling.
Yeah, I saw it twice, and I cracked up both times. It was
when
great.
He's just staring at him. He's just staring at him at the end like, he knows in charge. Yeah. I can't wait, man. That's gonna be some really good shit. That's kind of where Thor, I feel like Thor needs to be. He needs to be in space.
I like it. And I was worried going for, I'm looking at these new slates of movies coming out. And of course I'm gonna see them all, and they look, but they're not grabbing me.
Nope.
But Guardians 3 is grabbing me. Like, I'm ready for Guardians 3. And now they're telling me we're going to get Adam Warlock and Beta Ray Bill.
Yes.
Man, I tried to explain Beta Ray Bill to Amanda, my girlfriend, for those people who don't know me like that. And I was like, he's Thor, but a horse. Like, how fucking cool is that?
It's so cool.
Need anything else?
And we've seen him. And we've seen Beta Ray Bill. He's in Ragnarok.
We saw a statue.
Yeah, he was a statue. The head on that building.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's, and it was rumored the first Guardians that Beta Ray Bill was in one of the collector's containers.
Oh, okay.
And it really it's from the back. It's a bald head. You really don't get to see the front, but it's got a red cape on. But it's the color of Beta Ray Bill, and you're like, holy shit. But now James Gunn come out and said that it was not Beta Ray Bill.
Okay.
So I guess it wasn't, but it sure the fuck looked like it was. Yeah. Well, I didn't think Hemsworth was going to make it out of this movie, but apparently he has said he will play Thor as long as people want to see it.
Yeah.
And I really think Thor's hitting his stride as of Ragnarok.
Agreed.
So in Infinity War and this movie really, really fucking helped, because hell, he was a big part of Infinity War.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's really hit his stride as a character.
He had my favorite scene in Infinity War outside of Thanos stuff when he fucking came up into the lightning, with the final. That was so cool.
So cool, man. He's just a fucking fantastic Thor. I'm really glad to see him with the Guardians.
Hey, if Hot Toys is listening, man, me and Travis are both wanting a fat Thor hot toy. Yes. We will buy that shit.
I will buy that shit. I sent him a tweet,
braided beard and all that.
Bring me fat Thor. I want fat Thor. You can even call it that. Yep. I don't give a shit, but I will fucking buy that thing. I don't care how much it is. I'm going to fucking own it. Did you see, I really had to look for him, but I did see him the second time, Howard the Duck.
Oh, I didn't see him. No.
Howard the Duck makes an entrance when Strange.
When was he?
He was in with all the. When Strange was bringing everybody out. Yeah. He was out. Yeah, you could see
funny.
him. It's kind of small, but yeah, he's definitely fucking in there.
That's funny. I like that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And actually, Joe Russo, they were 3 days. The CGI was done in 3 days. And he went to the CGI people and said, hey, how hard would it be to put Howard Duck in this scene? And they were like, are you fucking kidding us right now? We're almost done with this entire movie and we got to go back and they did, but they made it happen. So
that's awesome. I like that.
When Joe Russo says something, I'm sure a lot of fucking people do it.
Yeah, probably.
So I've heard this the first time I didn't catch it. The second time I know it's he fucking knew. It's so obvious the second watching. Bucky knew what Cap was doing.
Oh, as far as not coming back?
Bucky knew.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, I mean, he fucking knew. He says, I'm going to miss you, and you're taking all the stupid with you.
Right.
Like maybe Bucky was like, man, I don't know about this. You know, but go be happy. And then he wasn't even looking at the portal when they brought him back, and he was already turning around looking to the bench. You know? Yeah, and he smiled too. So,
yeah, I agree with you. You know, I hate everything that happened with Cap at that end. But there's no part of it that I'm okay with. One,
it's hard for me too.
Yeah, if I'm gonna bash Luke Skywalker for chilling on a beach while the galaxy goes to shit, I gotta bash Cap for sitting there while the. And my other thing is this: what was the line in Winter Soldier, man? What was it? What's the tagline? I got a shirt that says it. I'm with you to the end of the line.
Yep.
And he wasn't.
Unless I can go back in time and get pussy.
Right. Unless I could go get some pussy.
Well, dude, and I tell you, I know they're different. They were made by different people, but there is a line in Age of Ultron when Cap and Iron Man are talking to each other at Hawkeye's place, and that's what they're talking about, not being a war to fight anymore. And Cap, Iron Man's talking about like isn't that the goal, and Cap's like, he says, I think the guy that wanted all that other stuff died in the ice.
Mm-hmm.
So like the guy that wanted to be happy with the girl and raise kids and just be a good patriot, he died in the ice. The guy that came out, he's Captain America, and he's always going to be Captain. He's always going to be looking for that war to fight.
Yeah.
So I think they kind of, me and
my brother we had a long talk because he really liked this movie. And I really liked this movie, but not as much as a lot of people. I was also very disappointed in it at the same time. Good movie, I was disappointed. But we had this long talk. A lot of it is my own shit. And in the sense, I mean that I identify with the stoic warrior that puts the mission ahead of everything. That old feudal Japanese or Chinese kung fu, the mission comes first. Right. I don't identify with this new, hey, you could be a hero, but also kind of be selfish too and get what you want. Like, I don't fuck with that. And also, I can't mess with all the humor, like I said. And that's for these little kids. This new generation is constantly, hey, I'm a smart ass. Look at my YouTube videos. And all this crazy stuff. And that's perfectly cool, but it doesn't resonate with me. And so all these characters now have to be quick-witted and look at the movies that I really like. If you want the ones that I put up at the top, Infinity War. Not a funny movie, okay? Batman vs. Superman director's cut, not a funny movie, okay? The Nolan trilogy, not funny, right? My favorite superhero movies tend to not be the funny movies. Now, there's exceptions. Iron Man 1, Guardians 1.
Yeah,
Deadpool. Guardians 1. Yeah, Deadpool not up there for. I mean, I really like number 1, but it's not my top 10.
Yeah.
So that some of that's my own stuff, and me just not identifying with this younger generation. It makes me worried about what I'm going to think of the MCU going forward.
I'm very worried about the MCU going forward.
Yeah, and honestly, what's funny is out of all the movies coming out, what's the one I'm looking forward to the most? Joker. And I'm nervous about it. Don't get me wrong.
Sure,
but that's going to be not funny.
Right.
It's a Scorsese character-driven type of movie, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So.
I mean, was Logan funny?
Hell no, and that's a good point. That's another one. That's another one. So that's like I said, I know that's my own thing. That's just my personal preference. I can't say that's right versus wrong or anything.
Sure.
but all that stuff with Cap, none of that can resonate with me because I can't understand
Right.
sacrificing all that what you were made for,
Right.
for a girl.
Yeah.
I mean, can't do it. Man.
Yeah, there's just I just wish they'd have went another way with it. Gave him an ending fitting of a warrior. I understand. Well, everybody thought he was going to die, so we didn't. That's not a good fucking reason.
No, that's lame, man.
And I love the fucking Russo brothers. I mean, they're comic fans. You and I have pointed out several comics that they referenced in this movie.
Yeah.
Even this movie still. I mean, they're still referencing comic books. It's fantastic what they do. And what they did in this movie, I don't want to take away. I hate what they did with Cap, but what they accomplished as filmmakers in this movie is fucking mind-blowing. It is. All the characters that they had to deal with, all the loose ends, all the callbacks they made to great Marvel movies through the last 11 years. I mean, it's amazing what they did. So I'm almost willing to give them a pass on the Cap thing. I see where they were going with it and what they wanted to do. It missed. It just fucking missed for me, and I think for some other people. And I've talked to some people that absolutely fucking love how they did it. And I'm like, I definitely don't love it. No. I'm not going to say I hate it.
Oh, I do.
But I really, all the time travel stuff, like the shield, the Hydra and shield stuff, he knows Thanos is going to get the stones. I mean, like he knows all this stuff. It ain't like he can go into the past and just erase his mind, erase his memory. Right. So the Cap I know is not going to be sitting on the fucking front porch drinking iced tea with Peggy and all this shit's going down.
Look, all the stuff he knows they're doing to Bucky right then.
Exactly. Exactly.
Can't buy it, man.
And someone said, well, that's why when he seen his past self in the 2014 in the first Avengers or 2012, he tells him Bucky's alive. Like, and I'm like,
okay,
what the fuck does
What's
that mean?
Have to do with the 60 years of abuse Bucky had already endured?
Yeah, I mean, you have a chance to go back in past and change Buck.
Yeah,
why wouldn't you do that?
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
here's another question to you since you brought that scene up. Why did so many people hate the Martha scene in Batman vs Superman, but we're okay with the Bucky thing? Buck's alive. Oh, let me let go of you and drop my shit and all that. Like, why is one working, not the other? I think they both
That's a good point. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
That's a
good
question.
The Martha scene sure caught some shit.
Yeah. Jason says he thinks they were throwing shade on BVS.
Maybe
it was a tongue-in-cheek thing. Like, hey, this kind of be our Martha moment, and we'll make fun of it.
Yeah, I could see that.
I guess I kind of can too. And these guys used to do a show. I mean, the Russos, they got their start on Community. And if you've ever seen Community, I mean, it's fucking hilarious. When they got off the show, it was totally awful. But while they were on it, it was one of the funniest, smartest shows on fucking TV. So that I could definitely see them. I could definitely see them doing a little of that.
I could. I mean, that makes some sense. I'm just saying, why does it work for some? Why does that one work for fans, whereas the other one caught so much shit?
Well, I don't know, man. It's weird because, like we said, this is a fantastic movie. Okay, so since we're talking about what a great movie it was, and again, rewatchability for me is still going to be low, even though I enjoyed it the second time. It's still going to be low for me. I've seen Infinity War 20-something times probably. Will not see this one near that many times.
Nope.
So what do you score it, and where do you put it at in Marvel movies?
I give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
So very, very good. All right. 6th best ever. Marvel only.
Okay.
I'll try to go in order as best I can. Avengers 1 is number 1 for me.
Me too.
I struggle with Infinity War, Winter Soldier 2 and 3. I guess I'll go Infinity War 2 and Winter Soldier 3, I guess. I think the first Guardians,
Okay.
and the first Iron Man,
Okay.
and then I would put this underneath that
Okay.
as 6.
That's fair. I'm giving it a 9.
Okay.
And Avengers 1, Winter Soldier 2, Infinity War 3, Guardians 1, then Infinity War. Or I'm sorry, Endgame for me.
So you have it 5th.
I got it 5th, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we're pretty close.
We're pretty close.
One spot off.
Yeah, we're pretty close. I just,
but if you go for comic book movies, of the major Marvel DC movies, it doesn't make the top 10 for me. It doesn't. For me, I've got 5 right there. Mm-hmm. Logan has to go above it.
Logan's definitely ahead of it.
6. I'm going to take Batman vs. Superman above it for me. Director's cut only. I might take Man of Steel above it.
Oh, man, that's tough. Yeah.
Man of Steel was awesome.
Was.
And if you count Nolan trilogy, even though it's not DCU, it's DC movies, I'm putting all 3 above it. And now you're outside the top 10.
That's not even close for me. The Batman Begins and the second
Dark Knight.
With Joker.
Yeah, Dark Knight.
Yeah.
So you put 2 of the
Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, the third one's the Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, that's one I didn't like.
Yeah, so you'd put 2 of the 3 ahead of it. So you're right around that 10 range too.
How's Logan not a comic book movie?
I said Logan.
No, Jason in the chat says Logan's not a comic book movie.
Okay, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's a great movie, but it's still a comic book movie. I mean,
it's Wolverine. I mean,
right.
Not based on a comic book, but it kind of was. It's kind of based on Old Man Logan, roughly.
There's some Old Man Logan.
Based on Old Man Logan. Yeah, Logan, man, that's one of the fucking best comic movies.
I would say, if you're talking about not your favorite, not entertaining, but best actual comic book movie, I think there's really, to me, only 3 that can be in discussion. And that's Logan, Winter Soldier, and Dark Knight.
And Dark Knight?
Yeah, Dark Knight. I think those 3 are, as far as cinematic quality, are the 3 top of the line. That's not saying your favorite, and that's not saying entertainment, because I put Avengers 1 number 1 because of the magic of seeing all those guys together. Yeah, but it's not the best movie.
Avengers 1 is, I love Avengers 1 still. To this day, I watch it. I mean,
me too. I've probably seen that movie over 50 times.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's on TV, I sit down and get caught up in it.
Right. But it's not, you can't say it's the best movie, though, from a cinematic perspective.
No. It's just one
Would you not agree those are the 3 that would be in contention?
What's that?
Wouldn't you say those would be the 3 in contention?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean.
I mean, definitely. Yeah, those 3. I mean, they're those 3 kind of, I mean, they kind of transcend what comic book movies are.
Right. You know, they're kind of great movies with a comic character.
Yeah. They each one of those movies elevated the game in some way. Yeah. Not saying one's better than the other, which I have my favorites, but they took that genre into another realm that no one really thought that could be done.
I agree. I mean, essentially you made a great movie with a comic book character. Right. And if that's what Jason's saying when he says it's not a comic book movie, then I can agree with what he's saying in that perspective. Mm-hmm. It's a great movie with a comic book character that's transcended the comic book genre.
Right. I think somebody that like doesn't like comic book movies could watch Logan and go, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, I think same thing with Dark Knight too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, same thing with Dark Knight, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I mean, anyone who's a fan of espionage movies would love Winter Soldier.
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, Winter Soldier, man. You know, I was telling somebody, we were kind of talking about this on the Game of Thrones show last night. I don't know how we got into this, but, you know, I first watched First Avenger, and I felt so I was so upset that I didn't get Cap. I got a decent period piece movie with a little bit of an origin story of Cap, but I didn't get to see Cap. I didn't get to see Cap's strength. I didn't really see his fighting ability. I didn't get to see his acrobatics. I didn't get to see any of that.
Right.
The end credit scene where he's punching the bag and he hits the bag and explodes it was the first time we really, he's got super strength. Well, we didn't know that.
I agree with you, but he did rip a door off of a cab without much prep. That's not super
That's
easy.
true. But what else did he do?
No, I agree with you.
He hit some people and they went flying.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you for the most.
he wasn't like bending metal and you know what I mean? Like
I agree.
taking somebody's gun from him and snapping it in half. I mean, he wasn't doing any of that shit. I want to see Cap. And then in the first 10 minutes of Winter Soldier, when he's on that cruiser, that cruise ship, I was like, oh my God. This is one of the best scenes in comic books ever.
Yeah, and Winter Soldier has two of my favorite all-time Marvel fights, which is him versus Batroc the Leaper on the boat, and then him versus Bucky on the street, which is incredible.
Fucking incredible, dude.
I mean, those to this day, I'd put in probably two of the top, easily 5, maybe 3 fight scenes in Marvel history, as far as pure going at it,
just the way it was
style
filmed,
fight.
just, I mean, their movements and everything. And if you've never seen that video of Sebastian Stan and Chris Evans fighting, that is amazing. Like, they're doing that.
Although they've never confirmed that Sebastian Stan.
That's true, because he got the mask on.
Yeah, it's definitely Chris Evans, but they've never confirmed that was Stan.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read.
I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an elephant in the room to me, Jason. It is what it is. Black Panther and Captain Marvel, they made a shit ton of money. I was a huge, critic of Black Panther and even a bigger critic of Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I really liked Black Panther minus the CGI issues. But I was a huge critic of Captain Marvel. I mean, that movie did not do it for. That was in the bottom 5 of Marvel movies for me.
Yeah, and let's call it what it is. We know why those movies made the money they made.
For sure.
We know why.
They targeted a specific genre.
A specific demographic. It looks like they're going to keep doing that going forward. And that, you know what? That's fucking fine. This is, and again, good writing trumps everything. I'm not saying I won't go see Captain Marvel 2. I may not go see it at the movie theater. I'll tell you this, unless there's a great villain in it that I want to see. But I'm not saying they can't make a movie for me, a Captain Marvel movie, and I go, God damn, that was fucking good, man. I did not see that. Dude, blew me away.
I mean, that's exactly what happened with Guardians. Going in, I was like, this is not going to be good.
Exactly.
Kind of what happened with Ant-Man.
And I was about to say, Ant-Man, same way.
It happened with Iron Man 1. I can specifically tell you, me and my brother were sitting there, and I was like, hold on, we're going to get a movie with Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, directed by the fucking guy that directed the Elf movie. And we saw the trailer, and Iron Man's going through the sky, and they're playing Black Sabbath's Iron Man, which is a great song, but that's fucking corny. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a piece of shit. We still go opening night. 15 minutes in, my brother will tell you this story too. 15 minutes in, we looked at each other at the exact same time and said, this is really fucking good.
No, it's awesome.
So for sure, good writing. There's no such thing as a bad character.
That's right.
With proper writing, any character can be cool.
Absolutely. And I don't give a shit that Panther's black and she's a woman. I don't give 2 shits about any of that. I just want good stuff, and I knew from the get-go they weren't going to resonate with me. I felt like Black Panther was one of the best characters in Civil War. He was way better in that than he was his own film. And I didn't understand that. Black Panther had to have the suit to beat the bad guy because the bad guy beat him straight up, kicked his ass and threw him off a fucking cliff. Panther had to get back on the herb and get in the suit to even have a shot at beating Killmonger. That's not heroic. You know what I mean?
That's tough for me to say because then you could say Cap couldn't beat nobody without the super soldier serum.
No, I can't say that because we don't know that. I seen it on film.
He got his ass whooped in an alley by a normal ass dude.
He did. But not when he had the super. Yeah, he couldn't whip anybody without the super soldier serum. He was
Right.
fucking
So why
110
can't
pounds.
why can't Black Panther have his powers to have to whoop people?
Because for one thing, that was to have the mantle of the Panther. So they drained him of the herb and
Right.
took his suit away. So now
Right.
you're mano a mano. Like your
Right.
metal against my metal.
Right.
Killmonger won. So
Right.
then he has to get back on the herb and in the suit to even beat Killmonger.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's like he didn't really get a chance to beat him straight up. I would have loved to have seen a rematch of them both stripped down.
Well,
No
my thing is,
suit.
you don't always have to be the number one fighter. You know, if Killmonger had been raised up in Wakanda and stuff, it's very well he could have been the Black Panther. He might have been the best fighter.
He was the Black Panther.
Right.
He
But
won the mantle fair and square.
he did as far as that part goes. But we all know
T'Challa took it back and cheated.
Right. But to make a king isn't necessarily only about fighting ability.
My point being, it was shitty writing. There was
It did
1,000 ways they could have did it, and Panther been a hero, and he wasn't. Now, granted, Killmonger was, but again, Killmonger wrong? Kind of like we said about Thanos. You know,
Right.
Thanos had he was very,
Good.
alpha male I may have, but the Russos lifted the ban today, so it's on you, brother. Sorry.
And come on, man, you're watching a review. Come on, man.
They lifted the ban today. It's all fair now, brother. The Russos did it, not me.
Yeah. But okay, so Trav, because I totally agree with you, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a big issue I had with Endgame. Okay, so Marvel has an issue with its villains for the most part, right? That was kind of the ongoing thing. Me and you touched on with the Captain Marvel review. You had a chance to redo Ronan and make him awesome, and you completely blew it. Okay. One reason Killmonger was so good is because you could identify with it.
Absolutely.
And what he was saying was true. The memes might
Absolutely.
not be good, but what he was saying was true. Thanos and Infinity War, same thing. What Thanos was saying, we have too many damn people for the resources that we have, and we're continuing to have more and more and more, is absolutely true.
Correct.
His means by going about it is awful. We can all agree with that.
Yeah.
But they ruined that in Endgame. One of my biggest problems with Endgame, when he goes back and says, you know what? Everyone's ungrateful, and I'm going to wipe everybody out and make a grateful universe. Well, now you've become just another big, bad villain that wants to be recognized as a god and rule everything. And I thought that really took away from his character.
Yeah.
That hurt me. That hurt.
I definitely, especially on the second viewing, I definitely felt like they villainized Thanos a lot more. Not only with that statement that, like, I'm wiping y'all out. I'm glad to know this. This is a blessing. Because now I know for me to have things stay the way I want them to be, I'm wiping y'all out. Fuck it.
Right.
And then when he told Tony, or maybe it was Cap, usually when I'm inflicting violence on somebody, it's nothing personal. Like, I'm just trying to I'm trying to achieve a means. It's an end to my means. But I'm gonna fucking like wiping you all out.
Right.
Your little annoying fucking planet. I'm gonna destroy it. I'm gonna fucking like it.
If you flip that dichotomy in Infinity War when he's fighting Tony, who put up a hell of a battle on Titan, he had to hit him with a moon and all that.
Yes.
He says, "You've earned my respect. I hope they build a statue of you and they remember your name." Yeah, it's like you took Thanos and made him identifiable, somewhat sympathetic, and with a cause that you can get behind, just not the way he's doing it, obviously. And you turn him into just another big, bad, hulking villain. And I was like, that sucks to me. And I want to shout out J-Mo Death Punch, because my man is like, yo, I hate when Big Sam is right. He's right. Logan is a shit. And that is an outstanding point. So J-Mo Death Punch, thank you, my man.
What? Saying what?
He said, earlier he said he hates it when I'm right.
What was you right about?
I don't know. I can't remember back. I was right about a lot of things, so I don't know which.
Oh, hey, Jason, did you see it when Sam was pitching that Tony was a villain in Endgame? Is that what you're saying he's right about?
No, but I didn't say he was a villain. I said he wasn't necessarily the hero everyone's making him out to be.
Yeah, if
Right.
you're
I
saying
didn't
that
say he was
Sam's
like
right
evil.
about Logan, then we're all right because
I
no one's
think he was
arguing
saying
that
when
Logan sucks.
I think he was saying it was when I put Endgame at 6 is where I saw it pop up. So maybe,
yeah,
but you were right there too.
yeah.
And then he just said that
Logan's
was an
definitely better than Endgame.
Yeah, that was an outstanding point. Yeah, thank you. They took Thanos and took him from a character that you can get behind and make sense and turn him into a big bad villain. And I thought that took away from it.
I did too.
Your best villains, yes.
I don't know why. I mean, if anybody is watching this that like love Thanos as much as me and Big Sam did, you have to read the book Thanos Titan Consumed. It's a Marvel cinematic novel. It is canon. It was written in conjunction with the screenwriters for Infinity War and Endgame. So you've got to read this because it tells you why Thanos does what he does, why he went about what he went about, and kind of what they do in Endgame is very contradictory to all of that. Like, again, it's not personal. And he does say that in Endgame. It's not personal, but I am going to enjoy wiping you out. That's Thanos. I could see Thanos saying that. But when he said he was going to wipe everybody out and start life anew, I was Thanos wouldn't say that.
Right. And the line that really hurt was when he said, and I'll create a grateful universe. Thank you. So you're God now is what you want to be.
Yeah.
And that's not how he came across in the first one. And it's unidentifiable unless you're a megalomaniac that wants to take over the planet, which I hope you're not if you're watching the show. But look at the best villains. The Joker in the movies, the Joker in The Dark Knight. What he says is completely accurate. The morals and values we, tout as a society are flimsy. There's barely any coverage if two gang members shoot each other in the West End. But if, the mayor gets shot, which is what he used as an example, the mayor gets shot, it's still one life for one life. Everyone is up in arms and crying like they knew this. How many people cried when Princess Diana died, okay, and they didn't even know her?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But maybe your neighbor might get killed and people are like, I just lived on the block with the dude. Or you know what I mean?
Right.
So we don't value life the way people want to try to act like we do.
Right.
That makes sense. Killmonger, what he said, absolutely made sense.
Yeah.
And what Thanos said absolutely makes sense. We don't like the means of it, but they make sense. They're identifiable. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, again, we kind of believe in what they're saying. Like, we're not really arguing that they're wrong. It's just their methods that we don't agree with. But again, with somebody like Thanos, he even says it in the beginning, like before Thor kills him, he says, I'm inevitable. Yeah. Like, that's a megalomaniac right there. Like, I am inevitable. And like, he still thinks that it is his destiny. And I thought one of the coolest scenes was when Tony snaps and Thanos is, you see Maul and everybody getting, dusted away. Thanos he goes and sits down, and the look on his face, like, that's really great that even with Brolin and being all that motion capture shit, he could still portray that. And I don't know if he was trying to do it or not. Maybe that's just how I took it. But it's like I'm not destiny. I'm not inevitable. Yeah. Like, the disappointment and just like a defeated look in his face right before he dusts away. And I ain't gonna lie, I was sad. I was sad when Thanos was dusted. I was like, oh man, we're not gonna see him again,
And I really like that. I love that scene. That was one of my favorite scenes, and I like that part of it. I also took the part where he was a true warrior and accepted it. He said, they defeated me. Let me sit down and take my loss, And I liked that.
Yeah.
To me, that's kind of against, what Cap did when he was like, okay, I'm good. Like, I'm like, damn, did Thanos whoop the spirit out of Cap? Like Cap was like, okay, I'm done with this
and
shit.
that's and
We
when I
defeated this
argue,
dude. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to worry about anything else. I'm gonna take my little life over here.
When I argue, I don't want to say I'm arguing for the ending of they gave Cap, and we've kind of beat that to death today. But that is what I take it as. It's like the snap, Infinity War, Endgame, Tony dying, him getting to go back in time and actually see Peggy again. All that took its toll on Cap, and it kind of broke him. But that's kind of what we love about Cap, isn't it? He's unbreakable. Like, especially his moral compass.
Right. And how many times do we hear it's not how hard you can take the punch, it's how hard you can get it or how quick you can get back up off the mat.
That's right.
Cap didn't get off the mat.
No. And again, you could say, oh, well, there was another Cap running around. So it wasn't like he left Cap. There wasn't a Captain America in the world. There was two.
Right. There was.
But again, with all the things that Cap knew was going on and he just kind of let it go, it really doesn't. I don't know.
And what about the 70 years he's in the ice?
Yeah, there's no Cap. Right. That's true. There's no Cap running around. And if he does anything to change things, then doesn't that divert the timeline?
Yes, that creates an alternate universe, as far as I know.
See what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know. But like again, we can both agree that we didn't like that.
Right.
Tony went out like an OG.
He did.
I think Tony, I think they said something about him getting a fucking Oscar nod. I think he definitely should.
That would be great.
I mean, maybe not a win, but definitely a nomination because I just think he played it so fun, and he always has. He is Tony Stark, man.
Loved when he discovered the time travel.
That was awesome.
He sits back, he's just looking at it, and when he's trying to present it to Pepper,
well, she's reading a book about composting, and he's like,
right.
Oh, yeah, what's
going
new
on in the world of composting?
And he's not even paying attention. He goes, oh, I figured it out. Like a kid. Like, I can't fucking God damn it, I don't want to know about composting. I want to tell you I figured out time travel.
Right. And it was such good acting, man.
It
was so good. And that's what I'm saying. People, my brother especially accused me. He's like, well, man, how do you give it an 8 and say you liked it when you've got so many things you don't like about it? You're trashing movie. No, I'm not, man. There's so many things I loved about this movie.
Sure, me too. Absolutely.
When I'm expecting a 9.8 or something, and I get an 8, I'm disappointed.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I gave it a 9, and I feel like I'm very solid on that 9. And if it wasn't for the Cap stuff, it would have got a much higher score. Trust me. Got a much higher score. I think we've said this before. What they did, in this movie, it's mind blowing. How they wrapped everything together. They tied up people's story arcs. Yeah, it's just and then they still made a good movie in doing that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did.
It is a little slow in the beginning. The pace in the second half is not the pace in the first half. I wish it was more evenly paced. Yeah. But I know that they had to do that stuff too.
Right.
So, I don't know. So just to wrap it up, we gave our scores and everything. What are you looking forward to? And I think we've already answered this too, but what are you looking forward to the most going forward in the MCU that maybe is not necessarily phase 4?
I'm really
what new properties do you want to see them tackle first?
I'm very excited about this Guardians 3, of course.
Absolutely. That's phase 4.
Right, that's phase 4.
Yes.
The kind of the under the smoke radar, rumor that maybe the next huge event could be Avengers X-Men, I think could be really cool. I'm excited for that. The other thing I'm really praying for is a good Doctor Doom. Mm-hmm. I love Doctor Doom, and he has just been absolutely shitted on by Fox 3 times. Fantastic Four suck. I don't care if they come back or not, but they're going to have to give you Doom, so I'll take it. and I really want to see Doctor Doom.
Yeah, I really want to see Doom too. I would really want to see. I'm excited about Guardians as well. Of all the Phase 4 properties, I think that's what I'm most excited for.
Yep.
As far as the X-Men go, I almost feel like I don't want to see shit from the fucking X-Men for the next 10 years. I don't.
I give it five. Five for me.
I want them to just. I want it to die. I want us to forget all the shit that we've seen so far, and then when they start it back, it's new. It's Marvel doing it, and it's going to be fucking fantastic. I would like to see something, because they're going cosmic, right? Especially with the Eternals movie and everything coming out. I'd really like to see Surfer or Galactus. Now,
what about your man?
It's probably a Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah,
but still, I'm more excited to see them.
I can't think of his name. You love him. Long blonde hair, super powerful.
Sentry?
Yeah, Sentry.
Yeah.
Cosmic.
I would love to see the Sentry. I would love to see the Sentry, or I would even like to see, which I don't even know if they have the rights to these guys, is the Squadron Supreme.
Yeah.
Give us, how funny would that be that if we got the Squadron Supreme, which is basically the Justice League, it's basically Marvel's Justice League, right? You got your Batman character, you got your Superman character, you got your Wonder Woman, and they give us a Squadron Supreme that was better than DC's Justice League.
Well, there's going to be a lot better than Justice League.
Yeah.
What about, if we're just doing like complete what ifs, like with new characters coming in, give me a 5-year break from the X-Men. I know you want 10. Give me 5 years.
Five would be fine. I may be dead in 10 years, so.
And come back with Rick Remender's X-Force to reintroduce the characters. Give me Wolverine. You've got Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Give me Archangel and Psylocke. And that would completely flip the script from what we've seen in X-Men.
Yes. Yeah. Let's just get away from the Xavier School for a little bit, and let's, they could even do it like the show Gifted did, where they talk about the X-Men, but like they're dead or they're gone or whatever. You know what I mean?
I think you're going to have to bring Deadpool in, because they're not going to keep Ryan Reynolds on the shelf that long.
No, they can't. No, and nor they shouldn't. And I love Cable. Oh, you don't like it because they made him so short.
Yeah, he was a fucking midget, man.
Midget.
He was a midget.
Domino was taller. Domino was taller than fucking Cable.
Even minus the afro.
But man, but what Brolin did with Cable, man, that was fucking good, dude. I mean, I love Cable. I mean, give me an X-Force movie. I'd be more than fucking happy with that going forward.
That'd be great.
Jason makes a good point. Jason says, "How's Big Sam not excited about Shang-Chi?"
Because I think I'll get excited when I start to see like who they cast.
Sure.
Because
we were super excited about Iron Fist too.
Right. They shit on Iron Fist so badly.
Oh my God.
It's hard for me.
It's even hard for me to read the comic anymore.
That's what I was gonna say. It's the first time. Okay. I'm a huge Daredevil fan. He's my number one favorite Marvel hero. When we got that Ben Affleck movie, it was a piece of shit. Okay. Although the director's cut's better.
Yes.
It didn't affect the comic book for me or anything like that. I was just like, okay, it was a bad movie, so be it, we'll move on. Iron Fist was so horrible, and the character was so whiny that when I read an Iron Fist comic now, I read it in his voice and his whininess and shit. The last Iron Fist comic they did, which I forget who wrote it.
Bryson.
Yeah, so it could have been, it was old school kung fu.
I loved it.
Or from island to island whooping. I couldn't read it. I was like, should be awesome.
Yeah.
And I can't even like it because his voice, I don't know if I could go back and read Immortal Iron Fist, which is one of my favorite runs.
Yeah, that's good.
Without even hearing this fucking guy now.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I'm so jaded when it comes to Shang-Chi. Like, you have got to give me an Asian and he's got to be fantastic at kung fu. Yeah. Do not give me a mixed martial art, jujitsu, any of that. I need the deadly hands of kung fu.
Right.
And if they do that, it could end up being my favorite movie ever.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you know what? They just give us an old school, like an updated old school kung fu movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like along the lines of that Bryson run with Iron Fist, where he's in this tournament. He's got to beat these masters. He's trying to solve a murder at the same time. I mean, there's so many ways they could go.
They've got crazy names and crazy styles. Like the dude that was like the king of the rats and all that shit.
That, man.
Yeah.
I told you about that. I'm like, dude, you really need to read this. Like,
well, I was reading it,
we
read it. We started together and I stopped. And you were like, man, you need to keep reading. And I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And they brought Shang-Chi into it.
They did. That's right. They did. I forgot about that.
Yeah, make just a crazy old school fun. Yeah. We're not take ourselves super seriously.
Right.
But badass kung fu flick, hand-to-hand combat, and I'll be all about it.
Debo said Nova, and I just want to say this because Joe Russo talks about that, and I think that's where Debo's going with this, because I know he watched that comicbook.com interview with Joe Russo. And they talk about basically in Infinity War, they set up the origin for Richard Rider and Nova.
Right.
So, and basically Joe was kind of like, yeah, but we already had so many characters. We weren't going to add anybody because it wouldn't be fair to that character. Like the first time somebody sees them, you know what I mean? Because I
wonder if that's the same reason we didn't get Warlock. Because we saw was it Guardians 2, the cut
Guardians
scene?
2.
Yeah. When you saw the egg, and all that.
Right.
So I wonder if that was their same reasoning with Warlock.
Yeah. But man, I was thinking about Guardians 3 is going to be a minute because he's still working on Suicide Squad.
Yeah, for sure.
Fuck. So it's going to be a minute, but I'm very excited about Guardians 3 going forward.
Me too.
Yeah, but if you remember Richard Rider, he gets the totality of the Nova Corps. Like that's what makes Richard Rider so powerful. Is the Nova Corps is apparently wasted, right? But what do they call it? It's not the Supreme Intelligence. That was the Kree. But there was it's kind of like the Green Lanterns when they die.
Was it the High Evolutionary?
No, he's more like into the mutants and shit, isn't he?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. It's like when the Green Lanterns die and the ring takes off, and like the general battery seeks out a replacement. In the comics now, the Nova Corps was kind of the same way. And in the Annihilation series, they wiped out the Nova Corps, but Richard Rider was left, and in his helmet, he was given coordinates to the power of all the the Nova Force. Fuck, that's what it was, the Nova Force. So instead of it being spread out to everybody, he got it all. So that's the reason the motherfucker was like fucking next level.
Hey,
so with the Nova Corps being decimated,
Earlier when we were talking about characters you would be excited for, we said Sentry. That wasn't what I was thinking about. It was Hyperion.
Yes.
I was like, that's Travis's dude, man.
Yes, I do love fucking Hyperion, man. He would be a kind of all these guys are Superman light, kind of. But Hyperion had the beard, and him and Thor were fucking brothers, man. That was right there before Infinity started. The big run with not Remender, but the other guy I like so much. Who did Infinity? It wasn't Remender did do some of it, but it was wasn't Lamar. I can't believe
was it Hickman?
Hickman. Yes, Jonathan Hickman. Thank you. Yes. So they were doing a lot of stuff with Hyperion and Thor in the Avengers run. The Avengers World is what they were calling it. But I'd dig to see him too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many, and they're going to get so many properties, and if they're developing a Namor, I'd be fucking hyped about that. Like, I'm cool with that. I mean, I don't know what they could do, and again, it depends on casting, but Marvel really hasn't got any of that wrong so far.
No.
So, I'm confident whatever they do going forward. But
Yeah.
but man, I think that's about it, man. We went an hour and 45 minutes. I told Sam before the show, I'm like, man, I really want to keep this to 60 minutes. And he was like, I don't know, dude. It's a 3-hour movie. I don't know if we can do it or not. So, but guys, I want to thank everybody in the chat. It was awesome. Again, last night for the Game of Thrones episode 4 discussion, we had a really lively chat. It was lively again today. I want to thank everybody for participating. You are the third guest. Like, even when I do a show by myself, you are the second guest. You're always my co-host. So just remember that. So guys, when you get in, I know there's, I can see everybody viewing on my screen, and then, it'll say 5 viewers in chat, but like I've got 12 viewers over here. And get in the chat, man. Get in the chat and, ask us some questions or something. We're usually pretty good about, looking at the questions and answering those.
Yeah.
Isn't Namor supposed to be the villain for BP2? BP2. Oh, Black Panther. Namor is going to be the villain in Black Panther?
That'd be interesting.
Wow. Okay. Egan asked why Thor was Stormbreaker almost defeated Thanos sooner, but couldn't slow him down in Endgame with Cap and Tony. That's a pretty good question because Stormbreaker is pretty OP.
Yeah, but I mean, he threw that thing, without Thanos recognizing that it was coming. It was like hey, I see you open, let me throw this real quick type. Right. It was a surprise attack,
Right.
That makes the difference. What I mean?
Yeah, I think that, especially Thanos just got all the stones. He really didn't know, he's kind of a rookie with the stones. If he'd have known Stormbreaker was Stormbreaker, he would have turned that shit to bubbles, which was probably what he should have done, but he didn't, and it cost him, right? And we got Fat Thor. Not saying that, maybe Thor's not as fast and maybe as strong as he normally is because he is out of shape. He's been drinking beer for the fucking last 5 years.
I just look at it more as if you remember that scene from Infinity War, we all even almost jumped because he just hit him with that, he hit him with Stormbreaker out of the blue.
Yeah.
And in this one, Thanos is sitting there waiting on him and they walk up on him, Already Thanos is a lot different fighter than I caught you from surprise Thanos.
Yes. And let me tell you, Thanos, again, in the book Titan Consumed, Thanos has fought Asgardians. And he's been beat up by Asgardians. So he knows, this guy's probably a fucking Asgardian. I'm ready for him. And, we didn't even really talk about the blade that Thanos used. But it'd be pretty cool to find out where that fucking thing came from because it destroyed vibranium.
Yeah.
It went through some vibranium. And Joe Russo said in that interview, Thanos has been around for 1,000 years. So he's going to have the baddest weapons in the galaxy.
Right.
His blade is going to be the baddest blade, which brings me to another point I just thought about. Scarlet Witch was OP as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
In Endgame, and she actually even broke the blade.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, there's Cosmo.
My man, yep. I guess he just wanted to make a quick appearance.
Special appearance by Cosmo. Goose. But yeah, guys. So again, thank you so much for joining in. If you missed any part of this, please watch the replay. Thank you again for making me a Patreon affiliate on Twitch. I really appreciate that. Hit that subscribe button. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription. So I would appreciate if you would use it on me. That'd be fantastic. Hit that notification button. You'll know every time I go live. I'll be back in here. Thank you, Debo. Thank you for that. That's so, I don't know how he does it so fucking fast.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's amazing. He really is. He's the best fucking hype man anybody can have, dude.
Hey, quick question before we roll.
Yeah.
What's the next Meatheads gonna be? What's our next movie? Is it gonna be Brightburn
coming up?
We got Brightburn coming up.
Oh, it's going to be Brightburn.
Okay, then we got Godzilla.
Then it'll be Godzilla.
Okay, and we got Spider-Man.
Yep, Far From Home. Yeah, for sure.
And we got X-Men.
I guess we'll do a fucking X-Men movie. I guess I'm going
Yep.
to do a Dark Phoenix review show when I don't even get to talk about Wolverine. So fucking stupid. But we'll watch it. Hey, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I come on here and go, oh my God, guys, go see Dark Phoenix. It's the best X-Men movie they've made so far.
Right.
I would, trust me, I would be so happy to be able to say that. I'm not, but.
So Brightburn's next.
Yeah, I want to answer this just really quick. I just see where Jason said, who created the Titans? In the comics, it was the Celestials. Is that right? Sam, do you know?
No, I'm out on that one, man.
I want to say it was the Celestials. You have a hierarchy. The Celestials were the first beings ever. Okay? They created the Titans. The Titans then created the Eternals. So I'm not sure, like these Eternals movie that Angelina Jolie is doing for Marvel, I'm not sure the hierarchy. So now, like, the Celestials in the Marvel MCU were Ego the Planet, the Collector, the Grandmaster from Ragnarok. Those were all Celestials in the MCU. So I don't know. I don't think they created the Titans. They may be putting the Eternals in a higher hierarchy here. I don't know. So, but the Celestials were a little different. They're the elders of the universe in the MCU. I know in the comics. They were the elders of the universe. The Collector, the Grandmaster, these people. So yeah, as far as the MCU movies go, I'm really not sure of that hierarchy there. But I will try to find out for you. And I'll get back with you on it. But yeah, so thank you guys. Sam, thank you for being on, man. I really, really appreciate it. Like Sam just said, we've got some movies coming up, man. Brightburn. He and I are fucking really excited for Brightburn.
I'm thinking Brightburn might be my movie of the year.
I know, man. But you know what? I'm also worried. This is how I feel about it. I'm either going to fucking love it or I'm going to fucking hate it.
Yeah, agreed.
Or I'm going to walk out being so pissed off, man. Like, are you fucking kidding me? That's where they went with it. But
for me, it's going to be how do they defeat him in the end. If it's something cheesy, it's going to ruin it for me.
Or maybe they don't defeat him.
Which would make a great movie.
Yeah.
Movie.
Good writing trumps everything. So just make a good movie, man. We're going to love it. But guys, follow the Facebook page, Blazing Defender Report on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll post when I go live. I post the schedule of events. I put promo stuff out. I do some other articles on stuff I think's really cool. I don't post a whole lot, so if you turn on the notifications on that as well, I'm not going to bog you down. Trust me, I just post stuff I think, oh, that's really cool. Maybe my listeners would like to see that. So, but follow me there. Follow me on Twitch. Hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And for that, Big Sam and Blazing Defender are out, guys. Peace.